What's going on, everybody? How's everybody today? Hope you're doing fabulous. We got a lot to talk about. We got a lot to talk about. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. We do. I'm getting it ready right now. Glow Z, thank you for becoming a new member. WKD Llama, welcome back. I told you networking was a beast. Gotta pick a struggle though. What's going on, Farida? How you doing? The Elrin Jones. I'm assuming your name may be Lauren, but I could be wrong. Sam, what's going on? How you doing? Welcome back. Welcome back. Happy holidays. Those that had traditional meals, hope you enjoyed. Those that did a little something different, I hope you enjoyed. That was close. I take it. All right. I'm gonna start off real controversial. Because that's what I do. Those that haven't been here before, you haven't watched the segment of Petty T. So there's a segment that I do called Petty T. It's actually on Foolish Finance Fridays. I haven't done the show in a while. Usually it's talking about financial decisions that people have made that led to foolish things. But we're gonna start off petty today because I'm Petty T. That's what I do. All right. Those that don't know, now you know there's a segment out there called Petty T. Now I'm gonna talk about some stuff in regards to Afrotech. And we're going to get into a little things. Let me see if I can find the actual. Yeah, here it is right here. I just want to pull this up and then we're going to talk about it. I'm not going to talk about the show because I didn't finish watching it. I'm going to give you my perspective of this. All right. So, on the screen, we see black women have hit the wall and desperate for husbands at Afrotech. That's what we see, right? So I'm gonna give you Tameika's perspective of why I think this is some bullshit, just in my own perspective. If you ever been to any of the major tech conferences, the AWS, the Azure, the Ignites, um, um, the CubeCons, I'm talking about the big tech conferences, right? Where they're literally deep diving into tech, the HP, the Cisco, the whatever, right? If you ever been to any of those conferences, you know for a fact that people hook up. They date, they go on dates, they are in each other's spaces. They are. I know we know some people that on the actual tech scene in terms of conferences, and they've gotten married. It is what people do. So when I hear Afrotech had a dating or a dating panel or the it's not out of the norm. They just capitalized on what you already do at the tech conferences, which bewilders me when it comes to black people. We take stuff and pick it apart when like we be behind those shit. Like We be behind. like now we mad because you going to a tech conference and you could be in tech, so you want to date someone in tech. Now we pick it apart. Now people are gonna be like, no, Tamika, no, no, no. So I went and gathered data because that's what I do to show you that we behind. We behind. I'm gonna show you something. This is from 2020. Breeding ground for sexist bro behavior. 1 in 3 women report sexual harassment at tech events. That's 2020. I'm gonna pull this one up. 2020. 4 in 10 women keynote speakers cite sexual harassment at tech events. Let's keep going. Because people be like, no, Tamika, for women in tech, speaking out against sexual harassment isn't a numbers game. 2017. This is from 2013. Guys, stop creeping out women at tech events. We the only black people are the only ones that sit up here and complain about, oh, they created a dating event at a tech conference. People date at tech conferences. I'm sorry. That's what they do. People go out on dates. They they go out on dates, they exchange phone numbers, they travel, they travel in circles, they hook up, they do. We the only ones complaining about men and women meeting in a location to date. I'm sorry. When did that become a problem? So let's say this, because I'm from Atlanta. I know it's the only place to meet a woman to date at at Strokers. Is that the only place? Is that the only place we y'all gonna meet women to date? Is Strokers? Let me know. Blue Flame. Let me know. Onyx. The VIP section at Onyx. The VIP section. What you go? You gonna call Magic and be like, I got the VIP section. Bring the girls through. They popping through. Is that the only place y'all gonna meet women? Let me know. Let me tell you where else people meet and date each other at. Let me blow your mind like the emoji. Track events, homecoming, HBCU homecomings, sporting events, church. It's just now a tech conference. Like work. Like I don't know why this is so mind blowing. Like so what? So what? They had a panel. I'm for it. In fact, I'm so much for it that I had a dating app idea, which is where 50/50 Geek comes from, because I myself wanted to find men who were in tech but not strange. Same way with women, men wanting to find women who are in tech and not strange. That's where 50/50 Geek actually comes from. It's just not a far reach concept. I had the idea for years. I mean, when I say years, we're talking at least a decade. So much so, I actually presented the idea to a VC. When I say strange, here's what I see at tech conferences, because I don't know if y'all go to these big tech conferences. I'm going to tell you what I see. Where's my thingy at? Let me tell you what's on the other end that y'all uh don't Probably don't see. All right, so right here. Attendees report men invading women in tech conferences like Grace Hopper. Let me tell you what the other side is when I say strange. I'm talking about strange like I identify as a woman, but you're a man with a full beard in a suit and you got and you got pink hair and you show up to a women's tech conference, right? That's to me, I'm looking at you. I'm sorry if I offend anybody, but I'm looking at you like you still look like a man to me. Now, what happens in these spaces is you'll see men show up that say they identify as a woman to get into the space, and vice versa, and vice versa. So being awkward, right? I have seen I have seen men riding through conferences with booty shorts on and roller skates and carrying flags. I have been to gaming conferences. If y'all think people not hooking up at conferences, you got to be absolutely crazy. Go to a gaming conference. They hooking up at the gaming conference. We black people are behind. This is not new. Go to the gaming conference and you gonna see where the dude like it's like a natural thing. A guy comes into town, he don't have no place to stay. He go play with some people around the conference. He meets a group of people that may have some girls and some guys in it. He likes one of the girls. He's like, "Oh, what y'all doing?" They was like, "Oh, we got a place and we stay in such and such a spot." He's like, "Oh, okay, cool. I'm gonna come hang with y'all." They invite him over. He go to their Airbnb and he stay with them at their Airbnb. Or if you ever been to the gaming conferences, they sleep at the conference center. They literally bring their bags and sleep at the conference center. They may buddy up. It may be two men in a bag. It may be a man and a woman in a bag. It may be three of them in a bag. We the only ones that think this is like a foreign concept. Like it's crazy to me. It's crazy to me. So you don't want to meet them at Afrotech. You don't want to meet them at the church. You don't want to meet them at the strip club. You don't want to take them on a date. You don't want to meet them at the coffee shop. You don't want to go for ice cream. What the hell are you supposed to meet at? Y'all don't want to do online because you're strange. You kidnapping folks. Where the hell y'all want to meet at? Don't say I want my family to introduce them. Half of y'all don't even talk to your damn family. You don't even know where your family at. So where you supposed to meet at? I just want to know. Then this is what cracked me up about this headline. Black women have hit the wall and desperate to find husbands at Afrotech. Oh, don't you want to be? Don't y'all want to be husbands? Don't you want to be wives? Isn't that the goal? Is that it? Are you not entertained? I'm just asking. What is the significance with Afrotech having a dating uh a dating panel? Just asking. Where are y'all supposed to meet each other at? Tell me so I can capitalize on it. So I can start making events like that. Are you where y'all supposed to meet at? What would you like to meet at? At least you know that the person who came to Afrotech had some money to get there. At least you know they had some money to get there or a means or a way to find a way. They were They were creative in how they got there. Like, what's the thing? I don't know. You tell me. Y'all tell me about this, because again, like I said, dating at conferences have been going on for a very, very long time. They just made dating a dating panel, and probably will make a Afrotech, add it to Afrotech dating app. Probably start having dating events, speed events, this, that, and other. Come date, and this is what I was saying years ago, decades ago. Date somebody that got the same likeness as you do. Like, if you studying cloud computing and this one over here studying edge computing, y'all can exchange ideas. What y'all miss out on, and this is just, and this goes right into what I want to talk about. What y'all miss out on is building a network, right? Why not have somebody that y'all got similar thoughts, similar spirits, where y'all can build off each other, where y'all can start building and creating a collaborative space where y'all can start having where y'all can start building businesses, where you can start going after government contracts, where you all can start going after city contracts, where you can start your own consulting firm. Why not? Why look at it as a way to be negative versus a way to be positive? What is the point? Either you want to get married, y'all want to be successful, y'all want to have kids, y'all want that family unit, or you don't. Hey, Tone all day. If they wanted rappers, fine. So what? It's some men that only date prostitutes. It's some men that only date women that give it up on the first date. It's some men that only date women that's 25 and younger. I ain't worried about that. Let them if they wanted rappers, so what? If you ain't a rapper, it don't apply. Let it fly. It's simple. Y'all get mad. Y'all be getting mad about nothing. So what, they wanted rappers? So what, they wanted drug dealers? So what, they wanted the bad boy? So what, she wanted the guy that did 10 years in jail? So what? If it ain't you, let it fly. Why you mad, son? Go date the woman that want you. It's easy. If she a bad chick and she don't want you and she want a bad guy, she ain't the chick for you. It's simple. It's simple. And when you say them chicks only wanted rappers, what chicks? What chicks only wanted rappers? Is it the ones that you like, or is the ones that you wanted? Which one is it? Or is it the ones that didn't want you? Let them people live. Let them people get down how they get down. Why y'all, that's what I'm saying. Y'all be, listen, I'm finna drop. Let me go ahead and drop these numbers on y'all real quick. Let me go ahead and punch you in the face with some numbers real quick. Let me help you out real quick. Let me tell you how crazy y'all sound to me when y'all be talking, when y'all be saying that. Let me tell you what y'all sound like to me. Let me show you this real quick. Let's go ahead and get into this, cause I think y'all be caught up on the wrong type of energy. IBM wins a 903 million GSA contract to modernize federal travel and expense management. Let's go ahead and drop some more. All right. The government account office, the government accountability office found a handful of agencies need to take additional steps to maintain successful telework programs. So they get into the telework program. GDIT, let's talk about it. GDIT books a $5.6 billion Air Force contract for mission partner federal support services. I'm gonna go all day. We got all day. I'm glad you said something. I'm ready. GDIT awarded 330 million. Supply Corps secures 112 million. Rolls-Royce books $695 million Navy contract. And we tripping over she wanted a drug dealer or not? Get some of this money. That's where we need to be at. Lockheed secures $870 million contract. Boeing secures $129 million contract with the U.S. Air Force. AWS books $158 million Army contract. Boeing secures $1.7 billion Navy contract. SpaceX lands $257 million contract. And we want to trip over whether they got a panel for dating. Oh, okay. Well, let me blow this one up too, since I was on my Palantir stuff anyway. So Palantir, June 5th of 2023, they won a multi-year contract for 463 million with US SOCOM. 463 million to do large LLMs. Palantir is driving rapid innovations across the defense portfolio. These include advancements in large language models to reduce cognitive load on warfighters and commanders, as well as advancements in edge and processing and edge AI. I talked about this all day long. Edge AI. Let's go. Palantir, one more time. Let's talk about it. Palantir wins contract to expand access to the Project Maven AI tools. Palantir wins, and this came out May 30th, 2024. The Army awarded Palantir Technologies a $480 million contract to expand data analysis and decision making tool to more military users across the globe. Let's keep going. Right here. 9/19/2024, Palantir secures $100 million defense contract with SOCOM. Let me keep going. Titan ground station contract to Palantir, 178.4 million. I just went over contracts. I just went over contracts. Where your skills at? What you gonna do? Who you gonna network with? Are you gonna net with Pushika or Pukisha or Pookie? Who you networking with? Y'all going to the tech conference, you better network. So what, the chick you met, you slept with her. So what? You don't know what she know. You don't know who she know. You don't know what she can introduce you to. You don't know who he can introduce you to. But y'all be so scared. Y'all be running around here like this with information and knowledge. Information, knowledge, and network. Y'all hold that thing so tight. Y'all hold it so tight. Like I say, billionaires keep billionaires rich. Back to Palantir. This was coming out. Palantir stock. This came out on the 22nd. I was gonna talk about it last week. It's going to soar after November the 26th. I just rattled off all the contracts. I just rattled off all the contracts. Right? Palantir just announced its intention to move from I hate when to do that. Move from the New York Stock Exchange to the Nasdaq. This move makes sense as the Nasdaq follows closely affiliated with technology focused enterprise. History suggests that further gains could be in store following Palantir's transition to the New York Stock Exchange. So they're going to the New York Stock Exchange. If you've been following Palantir over the last year or so, you would know they've been on the move. Let's go look at Google Finance and let's look at Palantir over the last year. It closed on Friday at 67.08. Let's look at them in the past year. So let's go with January of 2024. It was $16.58 in January of 2024. Palantir ticker symbol PLTR. In 2024 of this year, it was $16.09. They closed on Friday at 2020 at and November the 29th of 2024 at $67. Get your mind right. Get your mind right. Y'all be worried about the wrong things. I tell you all the time. Stop worrying about the wrong things. Right? So you say, okay, Palantir, what about them? What does Palantir do? Well, Palantir got a lot of products right here. Palantir Gotham, geospatial data and intelligence platform that integrates and analyzes data from sensors, satellites, and other surveillance systems. Palantir Foundry, a software platform that provides real-time connectivity between data and analytic and operational systems. Palantir Apollo enables continuous deployment across all environments. Artificial intelligence platform, an operating system that allows organizations to use large language models and other AI safely and securely. AIP. Real time carbon emission. Here we go, right here. Palantir platforms. What are the products? Go look them up. Go read about them. Go get into them. See what they're doing with them. Right? Right? So now let's take it one step further. Because I think I'm gonna start here. I'm gonna just get into it. So I'm gonna go back. I'm gonna work backwards. So last week we talked about Linux consulting. How can your skill sets, even if you say you understand the stuff with Palantir and so forth and so on, how do you get into understanding um how to build out your Linux consulting? How can you utilize the skills that you have to start building your consulting out, right? That's this is the big thing, right? So, meter ops, let's look at what they offer, right? Most Linux implementations look like this. Months spent researching for a Linux expert, risk of hiring the wrong Linux expert, not enough work to justify a full time expert, full time is too expensive, constant management, collecting technical debt, difficulty finding an agency specialized in Linux, development slows down because Linux tasks are neglected, frequent context switches when managing Linux. There's an easier way, right? Free work planning, use capacity you need, work with pre-vetted experts, monitor and control progress, free Linux booster. Basically, they're coming in to help you with your Linux projects and then they dipping on out. Now, how does it work? This is just an example. I want y'all to spend your time on OpenShift, Kubernetes. Look at all the skills you have, and look at the companies that consult with those skill sets. Right now, because now you start to understand how to build, and I'm gonna give you just a little. I'm just a little guidance to get you going. All right. How it works is simple. You tell us what about your Linux need, important details. We turn it into a work plan before work starts. A Linux expert starts working with you. Linux requirements. Meet and discuss existing system and desired result after implementing the solution. Solution overview. Meet and review the proposed solution, the trade-offs, and modify the Linux implementation plan based on your inputs. Match with a Linux expert. Somebody may be in Linux, and there's oh, I got a nice little lineup for y'all. I got a nice little lineup. Match with Linux expert. Based on the proposed Linux solution, we match you with the most suitable Linux expert for our team. Linux implementation. Linux expert starts with working with your team to implement the solution, consulting you, and doing the work. Doing the hands-on work every step. All right. And then they would like go through and like build a customized solution and so forth and so on. Right. All right. That's great. But one thing y'all need to know is, and I went and looked this up, this is more like an agile project canvas, but this right here to me kind of helps scope a lot of things for you all. The problem, the scope, and they got one right here, right? So they got the problem, the customer segments, the benefits at 3, the 4, the scope, 5, the business readiness. 6, the possible technical solutions. 7, the desired team, and 8, your elevator pitch. And then they got 9, the risk, and 10, the cost. You could take this as a canvas, because that's what it's called. It is called the canvas. Take this canvas and put yourself into this canvas. How would you turn around and set yourself up to be a consultant? What problems are you trying to solve? What are some Linux problems that you think you would try to solve? I'm listening. What are some Linux problems that you think you would try to solve? What are some problems Linux can solve? What are some problems that you have solved with Linux? Right? So again, your problem. The top three reasons: urgency, opportunities, pains and gains. Number 2, customer segments. Users, influencers, owners, early adopters, other stakeholders. 3, the benefits. 4, the scope. 5, and when they say scope, key features, goals, project category. 5, support operations, staff, training, dependencies. Some of you all may want to do training, right? 6, possible technical solutions. What are some solutions you could solve for a team or a company? 7, core team specialists. It may not be you going in to do the problem. You may have some friends that can go in and do the problem. 9, identify the risk. And 10, the cost. We need to know how much you cost, how much you charging, how much you charging. All right. So for you today, for the price of $9.99, I started some searches today. And let me blow this up because you can barely see it. So the first thing I asked, I just wanted to know on the government contracting side, what is the percentage of government contracts awarded to black people? And I think the true answer is less than 5%. Let me double verify. And I'm not saying minority, because minority could be woman owned. It could be a number of things. It's not just minority. So we can't use that as the guide, because minority could mean a white woman, a Asian woman, a Hispanic woman. That's I don't want to use that as my guide. Let me look and see if I can get another answer. All right. It says for 2020, which small business were eligible to compete, uh over one just over 1.6% were awarded to black owned small businesses. That's about $9 billion. 1.6. We're not even in the game. We're not even game. All right. Right here, the percentage of government contracts awarded to black-owned business remains disproportionately low compared to the representation in the business community. The black-owned businesses constitute 12% of all business eligible for federal contracts, and they receive less than 5% of the contracts awarded in 2021. It says efforts have been made to address this disparity, such as Biden administration of allocating 15% of federal prime contracting dollars to small disadvantaged businesses, which included black-owned enterprises by fiscal 2025. Program like SBA's Empower and Grow underrepresentation indicates systemic barriers, including challenges. I'm going to say a couple of things. There's barriers, and then there's not trying. Barriers, and then not trying. You got to get in the game. You be on the sideline shucking and jiving, samboing it, and you ain't even in the game. You just watching it. You let it happen, right? So then, I said, what is the percentage of black people that work with Linux? They couldn't even really answer that question. They couldn't really answer that question. All right, so I went one step further. So I'm gonna help y'all out today. It's like if this will be a master class today. You will probably have to go back and clip this up and look at it a couple of times. Don't be mad at me. Be mad that you're not in it, but you can fix this problem. You can help me help you by starting. By starting. All right. So, how many of y'all have ever looked at an operating system as a product? How many of y'all have looked at an operating system as a product? We're going to shift gears. How many of you have looked at yourself as a product? How do you look at yourself as a product? What's going on, Warren? Yeah, you could do labs at home. I mean, skills gonna always trump certs. Certs are necessary if according to the job description. Let's get into it. All right, breaking down Linux as a product involves categorizing its key components, application, and its ecosystem. I'm saying, how do you look at Linux as a product? How do you look at yourself as a product? Right? Let's go. All right, core components of Linux. The kernel, which every operating system has a kernel, right? Let me give you a visual so that you when I say kernel, you understand what I'm talking about. Every operating system has it. Okay, so operating system kernel. The kernel allows you to directly talk to the hardware. Every operating system, you have a hard. Let's back up. You have a computer, a laptop, a phone, a tablet. That's all hardware. But then there's a kernel that is rising on top or rise in between the operating system and that hardware that allows you to talk to and from the operating system to that hardware. You can't is there's no that I don't know operating system out there that doesn't have a kernel. The most important thing is the kernel because that kernel contains drivers or modules or things that activate the ability to talk to that hardware. It's the most important piece. You learn this in computer engineering. You probably learn this as part of your basics. It is a great interview question. It is how Nvidia makes money. You think Nvidia makes money just from the GPUs? It makes money because it has an integration with the kernel. Let me show you what I'm talking about. Here's my search term: Nvidia kernel integration. literally installing NVIDIA kernel drivers. Like this literally it's literally one of the ways it makes money. Bring your own literally bring your own kernel. You can bring your own kernel. You can make your own operating system. You can make your own operating system. And NVIDIA says, bring your own kernel. That's fine. You know what? We got a developer kit that will help you, we'll walk you through on setting up so you can integrate with your own with our stuff. The kernel is this is what makes this is what makes Linux and edge computing and this space so dope because you can make your own operating system. Literally, black people can go out and make their own operating system. You do know that, right? You can make your own operating system. You can then say, you know what? In my community, I know things that are important to us, like clean water or safety or making sure that we got the pricing is right in our community for X, Y, and Z products and so forth. Or I want to build a POS system that I then use at my black owned restaurant to then go to my black owned bank and whatever. There's so many things that we could be doing if we collaborate and think outside of the box. We just won't do it. We just had this thing where we're like, she hit the wall, he hit the wall. Why do you care? Let him hit the wall. Who cares? It ain't your wall. What difference do it make? Right? The Colonel. Going back over here. The Colonel, the Shell. Brian Fox. Look him up. Right? Understanding, okay, now I have this kernel, I got this operating system, I need to do some things, I need to manipulate some things to do some things. And then utilities. You can literally create your own utilities within the Linux operating system. You can create a new command. What does that command do? What is the contribution to with that command to the operating system? That's what's cool about open source. It's so many things that you could be creating and doing and leaving that mark if you want to look at it that way. All right. Distributions that are popular. Again, we're looking at Linux as a product. What distributions are really tailored for whatever. So here they got Ubuntu is more desktop friendly, user friendly, whereas Red Hat Enterprise Linux is more for security and business, and Debian is a little versatile, but it's really based on Ubuntu. But you'll find a lot of people use Debian more so on the what I've seen on high performance computing side is what I've seen. And then Arch Linux, right? Lightweight and customizable for advanced users. There's also Scientific Linux. There's a ton of Linux distros out there. You can create your own distro, right? So, what are the target use cases? If we're looking at Linux as a product, what are the target use cases? Well, I just kind of went over some of them. Another one is a desktop, right? That's first. The server OS, um, embedded systems. When we talk about embedded systems, we're talking about routers, devices, appliances, your kitchen appliances, your stove, your washer and dryer, your refrigerator, and in some cases your microwaves, right? In some cases your microwaves, cloud computing, and development environments. It's just another one. Applications and software, system management, programming, networking, security, and then the ecosystem and community, open source, commercial support, and community forums like Linux.org, or Stack Overflow, Reddit, uh, um, um, and even they have here for open source the license, right? The GPL. All right, so business revenue models. for Linux as a product are it's free software and then training and certification. And then they go through and they say what are the strengths? Open source, um, flexibility, stability, security, vast software repository, broad adoption in servers and cloud. And then the challenges: steep learning curve for beginners, limit proprietary software, and fragmented distro ecosystems. That's why I tell y'all to stick with real, because at least there you get some support from Red Hat and you also get support from the community, and it's recognized. You can go down the Debian rabbit hole if you want to. You can go down the Ubuntu rabbit hole if you want to. But most of the time, most people are probably in production using Red Hat. You'll find people using Kubernetes if they're using Kubernetes, they'll be using Ubuntu sometimes. But if they're using OpenShift, OpenStack, it's probably Red Hat, right? Probably Red Hat. All right. So I'll talk about Linux kernel architecture here in a minute, but let's skip over to something else that I pulled up. Let me see. Do I still have it up? Yep. Okay. So again, it's tech stocks and jobs. So I did Linux and I did 300,000, but now I think I'll go through these and then we'll switch up. So here, a system admin for $163 an hour. You see system admin. Remember we said that's probably both Linux and Windows. Linux and Windows. But here we go. A site reliability engineer at Netflix from 100 to 720. This is also a Netflix 100 to 720. Um, North America specialist in sales for rail 309 to 526. Right, we've seen these before. So now let's look at Linux. Let's look at Linux kernel, or you should say Linux embed. Yeah, let's do embedded engineer. And then I'll take off the 300. I just want to see what it's going to pull back on our Linux embedded engineer. All right, so it's going to pull all things back. So let me go back, and this is me narrowing it down because I only want jobs over 200,000. All right, so now we get into all right, Rivian. Looking for a staff and site reliability engineer or Crusoe. Platform engineer for, I guess, the autonomous side for NVIDIA. We had Apple, and they're dealing with the file systems. That makes sense. Embedded and I guess probably low something. Is that low level? Yeah. 166 to 296. Like dealing with uh PIC controllers, FPGA, programming embedded boards, all that. That's at the kernel level, that's at the lower level. You'll find the Yocto project is one of those things, and then it'll come up as well too. Site reliability engineer for vehicle software, autonomous, CUDA drivers, again, NVIDIA, Linux driver and kernel developer, 166 to 296. You guys think cloud all the time. The only two things y'all think about in most conversation is cloud and security. That's all I ever hear about. That's it. That's what we were like. It's kind of like I'm going over here to learn Linux so I can do security, or I'm going over here to learn AWS so I can do cloud. There is so much more out there, so much more, like software and Linux kernel developer. Let me go down here and I'll pull up the Yocto project here in a minute. Um, mm-mm-mm. All right, so here's the Yapto project. Um, you can join this group and so forth, and learn about embedded engineering, and start working with it as well. You could take that same thought process here and actually um come here and look at the Yocto project. And I just do a search. And just from that search from this pulling back project, I should probably put it in double quotes so I can keep it together. All right, here we go. Firmware engineer, staff, software engineer, embedded Linux platform, software engineer, embedded Linux platform, senior embedded software. Again, I'm looking straight at the Yocto project as a search term. And when we start talking about embedded engineering and what that looks like. Now, I could probably take this one step further and I could probably do something like 200,000. Let's see what we get back. All right, now we only looking at jobs that are out here that are offered. They only had that one staff software embedded Linux platform. So again, now you're looking at an embedded Linux platform and you're asking yourself, what is embedded Linux platform? So, embedded Linux platform is a Linux operating system designed to run on an embedded system, which is a small computer that performs a specific function with a larger system. Embedded Linux systems are made up of several components: hardware processor, hardware abstraction layer, a Linux operating system, the service layer, and application layer. Right. And then Wind River is another one that comes up on. They specialize in embedded Linux systems. They also do government contracting as well too. They're another big proponent. They're another big, huge government contractor as well. Right. So that's why you come to the show. You never heard of them, but now you have. Right. All right. Let's get back to our Chat GPT. All right. So now we're talking about. We're going more into the kernel, and we're going to start talking about the Linux kernel at the core and the Linux operating system. And then I'm taking this from a perspective of like doing a deeper dive into what Linux is or the kernel is within the Linux environment. So process management, you want to see the number of processes. Every time you start a service, there's a process. Memory management, file system management, device driver, network stacking, and security. Then you get into kernel modules, and I stated this earlier. The modular design allows components, device drivers, to be dynamically loaded and unloaded, reducing the memory footprint and improves the system flexibility. Every time you get a new distro, you get from Red Hat or Ubuntu, it's loaded and it's bloated, depending on how you install it. And it has everything you're gonna ever use. But you're never gonna use Bluetooth on a satellite, so why install Bluetooth? So you should remove all the bloat. You want to be as modular and as agile as possible, right? Interfacing, system calls, kernel space versus user space. These are things you all should start learning and knowing. And when I say this, I'm saying this from um a perspective of making sure you go to the next level, right? Use cases: real time operating systems, embedded systems, high performance computing, and general purpose computing. This is all what the Linux kernel architecture provides you. So this conversation that we have up here with 5.8, $5.6 billion Air Force contract with GDIT, and they're going in here. They said, let's look at the contract. Air Force security contract. Of course, it's going to be Linux involved. Services IDIQ expected to start on Friday. The services that GDIT will provide include community security, counterintelligence analysis, and cybersecurity reviews. Oh yeah, all Linux stuff. Probably some Splunk, probably some Elk, and so forth. Right. Let me go back over here. Ground station contract. One point. I mean not 1 point, but $178 million for this contract. Right. Ground station contract. You don't think that ground station probably got some Linux on it? Absolutely. 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 Right. You don't think there's a kernel out there? Absolutely. Right. All right. So let's go back over to here. All right. We talked about the architecture. All right. So my prompt was, let me scroll back up to my prompt. Let's look at the Linux kernel architecture and use cases, and then give me Linux uses in enterprise environments. You said you think this chat is broken? Ain't nobody saying nothing. I don't know. I may be talking over people's heads. They may not know what I'm talking about. It may not be interesting to them. I don't know. I don't know. The Linux kernel is the core component. Oh, that's it. I did that one already. Linux enterprise environments. Linux is widely used in enterprises due to reliability, scalability, and cost effectiveness. Servers and data centers. We already saw 96%, and I have to go back and look up that website again. Or 96% of 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 web servers are Linux based. Right? Cloud infrastructure. Linux is the backbone of major cloud providers, AWS, Azure, and Google Cloud. If you don't think Linux controls the world, you be in control. Tools like Kubernetes, Docker, and OpenStack often run on Linux. DevOps and automation. Integral CI/CD pipelines using GitLab, Jenkins, and Ansible, ideal for automating and scaling and configuration. Enterprise applications, SAP, databases, MySQL, Postgres, Oracle DB, security compliance, hardened environments for handling sensitive data, SE Linux, virtualization, big data analytics. All those things are where Linux is at, right? And all those, this right here, if you go into an environment and you understand servers and data centers and and how servers and how to build Linux boxes in a when I say in a data center capacity, meaning we're talking about we got to build a thousand servers, 15,000, a thousand, 100, 10, 20, whatever. If you understand that, you get paid. Cloud infrastructure. If you understand the baseline of what how Linux works and how to build out servers and understand the basis of networking don't change, right? Because I'm in Kubernetes, networking don't change. Because I am in AWS, networking doesn't change. I still need an IP address. I still need a subnet. I still need DNS records. I still need reverse lookup. I still need to be able to route traffic. Routing traffic doesn't change. Protocols may change, but routing traffic doesn't change. Right? DevOps, how to automate, enterprise, security. Right? Depending on what environment you're in, there's financial security and health records and DoD. All are different. Meaning they have different standards. So you got to figure out what those standards are and then automate that. It's real simple. Virtualization and big data analytics. All right. Let me go. Let me tell you what my next set of information was, because I was going down a rabbit hole. I just kept going. Do do do. As you can see, got plenty. It was taking me down. I was like, we're gonna have a show today. Mm-mm. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Doo, 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 doo. All right. So I said my next question was to Chat GPT, and a lot of this stuff I already know, right? Um, let's dive deeper into innovation driven organizations. Innovation driven organizations that use Linux. Innovation driven organizations leverage Linux for flexibility, scalability, a robust open source ecosystem, enabling cutting edge advancements in various domains. Here's a deeper dive into how Linux supports those systems. All right, enabling agile development and DevOps. Those that come to the Wednesday shows, I talk about scaled agile. I talk about the framework. I talk about agile framework all day, every day to get you all to get in the mindset there. So then we talking about containers and microservices, platforms like Docker and Kubernetes, and so forth. Driving cloud native innovations, cloud scalability, and edge computing. Used in edge devices and services, Linux optimizes processes of network edge for faster, localized computations essential for IoT and real-time device. Your Ring doorbell, your Alexa, your Google Home, your router in your house, your DVR, all those are at the edge. They're at the edge. When you want to reboot your router, you can go physically and reboot it, or you can send a remote command to reboot it. Right? Supporting AI and ML data workflows, AI and ML development frameworks like TensorFlow, PyTorch, Scikit, learn or optimized for Linux environments. Companies use these tools to build AI models for automation, recommendation systems, and customer insights. All right. Big data ecosystems. Tools like Hadoop, Apache Spark, Elasticsearch often deploy on Linux, process and analyze vast data sets efficiently. What you mean what I know about Schoolhouse? Well, I'm just a bill on Capitol Hill. Of course I know about that. But fun fact, do y'all know who the Pointer Sisters are? Fun fact. So, fun fact, that's who did the song. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Doo, 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 doo. That was the Pointer Sisters. It was made in 1976. 1976. The little pinball joint. Hold on. This is the Pointer Sisters. Shout out to them. I think they're all but passed away now. 12. Just just think, man, we growing up, this is what we did, right? This is what we all did, right? Even Luther Vandross. Let me see if I can find what was he was he doing the one? Who was the it was him and some he did another song, but let me do this one.
Well, you sure gotta climb a lot of steps to get to this Capitol building here in Washington. Well, I wonder who that sad little scrap of paper is.
I'm just a bill. Yes, I'm only a bill. And I'm sitting here on Capitol Hill. Well, it's a long, long journey to the capital city. It's a long, long wait while I'm sitting in committee. But I know I'll be a law someday. At least I hope and pray that I will. But today I am still just a bill.
Gee, Bill, you certainly have a lot of patience and courage.
Well, I got this.
Y'all want to know how we learn? That's how we learn. We learned what a bill was. Y'all got to wait to civics class and all that. Well, we was already doing that.
When I started, I wasn't even a bill. I was just an idea. Some folks back home decided they wanted a law passed, so they called their local congressman, and he said, "You're right, there ought to be a law." And he sat down and wrote me out and introduced me to Congress, and I became a bill. And I'll remain a bill until they decide to make me a law. I'm just a bill. Yes, I'm only a...
Now, you asked me, do I remember that? Yeah, of course I remember this. It's Sesame Street.
Now, don't forget a loaf of bread, a container of milk, and a stick of butter. If you can't remember, I'll write it down for you.
That's okay, Mommy. I won't forget. I remember. A loaf of bread, a container of milk, and a stick of butter. A loaf of bread, a container of milk, and a stick of butter. A loaf of bread, a container of milk, and a stick of butter. A loaf of bread, a container of milk, and a stick of butter. A loaf of bread, a container of milk, and a stick of butter. A loaf of bread, a container of milk, and a stick of butter. Mister, could I have a loaf of bread, a container of milk, and gee, I can't remember. Can you remember what my mommy said?
A loaf of bread, a container of milk, and a stick of butter.
A stick of butter. I remembered. Mommy, I remember. A loaf of bread, a container of milk, and a stick of butter.
You have a good memory, honey.
Thank you, Mommy.
Just walking down the street, going to get a loaf of bread, a container of milk, and a stick of butter. And don't you forget my cigarettes. Yeah, I remember all of those. Of course I remember Yuck Ma. I was just looking at it the other day. Yep. I have to make sure I put PBS.
They call me Yuck Mouth, 'cause I don't brush. Oh, I like my teeth like this. They call me Yuck Mouth. No, I won't brush.
Listen, there's some of y'all that be on Kendra G with Yuck Mouth. and them veneers don't help. Some of y'all be on Kendra G with a yuck mouth and you don't brush, and y'all be having a stick of butter on your teeth. Y'all be having a loaf of bread in between your teeth and a stick of butter. All right. Back to regular schedule program. Gave you a break. They out there, D. See, when I'm petty, they want to interact. When I ain't petty and I'm serious about that, they were like, "Don't get no interaction, but petty." When I'm petty, petty, it's all good. All right, back to it. So, yes, I know they're trying to get rid of fluoride. High performance computing. Linux runs 100% of the world's top 500 supercomputers, enabling innovation in research, simulations, and complex modeling. Scientific research organizations leverage Linux for computational research and fostering breakthroughs in the field like genomics, physics, and astrophysics. All right, fostering open source collaboration again, open innovation, custom solutions again, fostering a community of collaboration, fostering a community of networking. Don't think that people that are doing high performance computing don't know each other. They know each other. It is a small network, and they know each other. Supporting emerging technologies. I've been saying this forever. I think you guys are late to the AI game. Personally, that's Tameika's thoughts. Because coming in the future, you need to be understanding how quantum computing works. Linux flexibility supports experimentation with quantum computing and platforms and simulators, cryptography, and I showed that with the encryption last week being broken with a quantum computer. Again, get in the lane that's innovating now, so you can be a in 5 years you can be an expert at it. Then get paid to be an expert, not to deliver it, but also to understand how to integrate it into businesses and leverage those tools and leverage that technology for those businesses. Be the expert, be the assassin. Again, that's you got to get in that mindset, right? And this goes back all over here to the problem, the scope. All of this is your thing. It is a thing for you. All right. So case studies. Google uses a modified Linux kernel for Android and its massive data center operating operations, enabling scalable and efficient services. SpaceX relies on Linux for spacecraft systems and operations, showcasing its reliability in mission critical environments. And Tesla employs Linux in vehicle operating systems to power electric cars and autopilot functionalities. You all are driving around in your Teslas with Linux cars. It is a thing. I don't know if you knew that, but it is a thing. Automotive grade Linux right here. There's a conference for it. One's coming up in Tokyo, but it's a thing. This is a thing. If you want to know who the members are, mm, 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 mm. Mazda, Panasonic, Suzuki, Toyota, AWS, Qualcomm, Honda, Mercedes, Adobe, ARM. Let me see who Hyundai, Hitachi, Intel. I think you recognize these names as I'm spitting them out. Toshiba. I think you recognize these names as I spit those out. All right. All right. My next one, I said, let's dive more into Linux and AI, Linux quantum computing, and Linux Lin- and Linux at the edge. That's what it should have been. Give me use cases for these companies. So, Linux AI, quantum computing, and edge computing. Linux plays a critical role in AI development due to its open source nature. So, NVIDIA utilizes Linux to power AI workflows through its AI enterprise software designed for model training and interference. Wind River. Remember, we talked about Wind River and Linux and I guess Elixir or Elixir Pro, a Linux distribution tailored. Remember, you can make your own Linux distribution. You can use the kernel to make your own operating system, to make your own distribution. A Linux distribution tailored for AI at the edge, enabling applications like autonomous vehicles and industrial automation by integrating machine learning directly into edge devices. Open platform for enterprise AI, known as OPA, OPIA, I guess OPIA. The Linux Foundation, OPIA, provides tools to integrate generative AI workflows into businesses securely and cost effectively, focusing on technologies like LLMs and data orchestration. Quantum computing, Linux and quantum computing, IBM, D-Wave Systems, Argonne National Laboratory. How many of y'all have ever heard of Argonne National Laboratory? Linux Edge Computing, Cisco, Levino, Red Hat Edge. Use cases: healthcare, right? AI assisted diagnostics using Linux Edge device, ensuring low latency processing in hospitals. How many have did y'all see the AI tools in surgery? Let me pull it up. I'm just gonna pull it over and not play it. So this one is brain surgery on LLMs with Jason Liu. But let's go back up here, right here at the top, right here. Robots doing surgery. Um, why you want AI to watch your surgery? Again, they're getting into AI doing surgery as well too. Um, AI in surgery, balancing technology and the human factor there. Let's go one more level deeper. Yep. So Gen AI LLMs agents enabled medical devices, right? Uh I don't see how I'm not I'm let me say it this way. It's not too far off what AI will be creating families. It's not too far off where AI will create families. What do I mean by that? Meaning I won't be surprised if the study of families where people where a I could see someone taking the best out of families, like the best people out of families, matching them up with someone else's best to start a new generation of families. And I wouldn't be surprised if someone takes the 23andme, the whole blood thing, like what is your what's your generation uh best, right? Your generational best, like where you come from, your best characteristics of those generations, to say at say generation number 7, you would be the best. You will be best. This will be your best family member that should be matched with another family member. I wouldn't be we're not too far off from that. Pretty much. Here's the thing. Eugenic eugenics and scientific racism. It is the breeding out of diseases and so forth and so on. We're not too far off from that being a thing. We're not too far off from that being a thing. In fact, I think it's happening now. You would not be bred. You would not be married based on whether you like somebody. You would be married based on your genetics. And people do that already right now. I guess a good way, a way that people do it right now would be Ocho Cinco, right? He's like he only dates and has baby by women who are athletic. Good ankles, good shins. Now, should women, I'm gonna be controversial. Let's be petty. Let's be petty. Should women only date men who have good genes? Should we go based on genes? Should the black community worry more about genes? I agree with you. Should you go for the man who has the best genes? He's tall, he's athletic, or taller than you. You have to see his you have to see his you have to see his daddy, his granddaddy, and his great granddaddy. You gotta know if those genes are true. And ladies, don't get out here and get tricked by going out on a man with a date that he say he's 6 feet because he could have got the surgery. He could have got the surge, and you got tricked. Right, right here. Pull it up. Y'all think I'm lying out here. I talked about this, but what 2 years ago, the limb strengthening lengthening surgery, where they can grow, they can increase their height 2 to 3.1 inches, and it says, for example, lengthening both your femur and tibia would increase your height by 5 inches. So, ladies, don't get tricked. Let me see. Let me see the images. Let me see. Look at this. Look, ladies, don't get tricked. He was what? He was a good 5'4", 5'5". Now look at that. I'm just pointing it out to you. He might about have been 5'2". Let's go back. Me and the pen. This was 2020. I knew I wasn't crazy. Uh-oh. They got his face blurred out, but on the thing it ain't blurred out. Well, they gave him about 3 inches. Cause now he what 6'2", right there? He about 6'2". All right, let's go. Keep looking. He did the surge. Look at this. Made himself 9 inches taller. He out here tricking y'all. He made himself 9 inches taller. He went from 6 feet to 6'7". So now she gonna go have a baby by him, and she gonna be like, "Well, why my baby only came out 5'11"? Baby, why you ain't tall like your daddy? It would never happen, cause your daddy ain't never was never that tall. Your daddy was 6'7". You need some high school pics. You need to know what his length was as a baby. What was his length as a baby? You need to know. Listen, y'all better go read. Children's Health. It said, "What's the best ways to predict a child's adult height?" There's no proving. It said, "Add the mother's height to the father's height in either inches or centimeters. Add 5 inches for boys or subtract 5 inches for girls, and then divide by two." They got a formula. No, but if he's 6'7", Afia, and she looking for her babies to be 6'3", he only 6 feet. They ain't gonna make it unless she got some genes, unless he got some genes or she got some genes in the background that's actually in the family that can help out. But it gotta be in the genes. Gotta be in the genes. When men say they get overlooked for their height, part of that is true and part of that is false. The part that's true is you probably are getting overlooked for your height. The part that's false is you just got to date shorter women. What the lead attorney say? He only date them if they 5'2" and he's 6'8". He want to see the top of their scalps. All right, AI, quantum computing. AI, Nvidia. We know about Nvidia. Quantum computing. We know about IBM. I talked about them. His Linux at the edge with Red Hat and industrial automation. ABB robotics. Red Hat based edge platform enables industrial clients to deploy AI at the edge for predictive maintenance and real time analytics. Wind turbines, right? Healthcare with Linux AI edge devices. Healthcare. When we talk about healthcare, we're talking about they gave a specific use case. Philips Healthcare uses a Linux based platform to deploy AI models that analyze radiology scans directly on edge devices in hospitals, providing faster diagnosis for conditions like cancer. So go check out Philips Healthcare, right? Smart cities. The city of Barcelona uses Cisco solutions to monitor and manage traffic flow dynamically, reducing congestion and optimizing public transportation schedules. So, smart cities with Linux at the edge. Quantum computing for logistics optimization. Volkswagen partnered with D Wave to optimize urban traffic by calculating the fastest routes for thousands of taxis in real time. I gave you use cases the whole nine. Now, I came back and I said, okay, from where we started from, let's build a Linux consulting company, focus on Linux at the edge, give me the top 3 operating systems to use and the top 20 skill sets to have, and give me some companies to get started with. I'll read it again. I said, now let's build a consulting company, Focused on Linux at the edge. Give me the top 3 operating systems to use. Give me the top 20 skill sets to have, and give me some companies to get started with. All right, let's go. So the top 3 operating system: Ubuntu, Red Hat, and the Yocto project. Then I said, well, give me the top 20 skill sets for a Linux edge computing consulting firm, right? So Linux administration, containerization, orchestration, edge computing architecture, design edge environments with scalability and resilience, IoT integration, automation tools like Ansible, Terraform, and Jenkins, networking, understanding edge to cloud networking, SD-WAN, and 5G integration, security, skills in SE Linux App Armor and end-to-end encryption for edge devices, real-time systems, knowledge of real-time Linux for latency sensitive applications, hardware software integration, ARM, cloud platforms, expertise in AWS, Azure IoT, Google IoT, data analytics programming, AI, ML deployment, edge operating system customization, building and modifying the Yocto or lightweight Linux distribution, meaning you'll be optimizing the kernel. That's what they're talking about. DevSecOps, open source collaboration, energy efficiency. This is one of the big things. Energy efficiency is a thing. Regulatory compliance and project management, agile and scrum methodologies for managed edge deployments. Now, I'm going to back up this list. I'm going to say, um, in the chat, put down what your skill set you identify with the most. We're going to start a Linux consulting company right here on the live. Put in the chat if you are Linux administration, containerization, orchestration, and you can have more than one. I'm fine. But pick your strongest. Pick your strongest. Linux system administration, containerization, orchestration, edge computing architectures, IoT integration, automation tools, networking, security, hardware integration, hardware software integration, cloud platforms, data analytics, programming, AI and ML deployment, edge OS customization, DevSecOps, open source collaboration, energy efficiency, regulatory compliance, ensuring edge solutions meet regulatory. So that's a security standard. Project management. So far, we got 1, 2, and 6. 1 and 6, and then we got a 3. So we got 1, 2, 3, and 6. So no, don't nobody in here understand security. We ain't got nobody in here that understand SE Linux. We don't have nobody in here that they got any programming. Nobody don't know nothing about Python, Go, C. I even throw in Rust. Sir Octavius Williams. No DevSecOps. No project management. Y'all ain't never managed a project. 13 and 12. You just started. We just started a Linux consulting. We just started our Linux consulting group right there. All right, so let me go back up. So what we've identified is in this if we're looking at this, our desired team and our list of skill sets. our desired team, and our list of skill sets. All right. The next one says, what company should I start with? I can start with Verizon and AT&T for telecommunications. For manufacturing, I can do Siemens and ABB Robotics, and for healthcare, GE and Philips, and for retail, Walmart and Amazon Go. For smart cities, Cisco Systems and Schneider Electric. For cloud providers, AWS and Google. Automotive, Tesla and Volkswagen, and for defense, SpaceX and Lockheed Martin. All right, and it says next steps: build a specialized team with skill sets. I already knew this was coming, so that's why I asked for your skill sets. Develop partnerships with the Linux distribution with Ubuntu, Red Hat, and Yocto. Focus on the key industries based on the company's needs, and then create a portfolio showcasing successful edge deployments and real world use cases. Do you think y'all could get together and make a consulting out of this? You can turn this into a consultant, a Linux consulting company at the edge. I think you can. All right, next one up. I said, give me an example of a successful company that used Linux showcasing edge deployments. Give me an example. All right. Tesla use of Linux for edge deployments. We already saw Tesla uses Linux in their cars, right? So let's go. Tesla has effectively harnessed Linux based systems to drive autonomous capabilities of of its electric vehicles. These vehicles are equipped with edge computing platforms running on Linux to process vast amounts of sensor and camera data in real time, enable features like autopilot and full self driving. I guess it's supposed to be full self driving cars. So autonomous driving. So key components of Tesla's edge deployment: autonomous driving, over the air updates, and real time analytics. The business impact is the scalability, the innovation, and the cost efficiency, and broader implications for edge computing. Excuse me. Tesla's success demonstrates how Linux is essential for industries requiring real time analytics and edge intelligence. Their approach highlights the benefit of reducing reliance on centralized systems while enabling rapid innovation. Exploring Tesla's self driving architecture through technical analysis of their AI stack. Review edge computing innovations showcased by the Linux Foundation members and so forth. All right, let me see. Oh, I got 10 minutes. What are the weakest skills most tech people have? So what are your weakest skills? I want to see what it says. I know what they are from my own personal experience, but let's generalize. The weakest skills often observed among tech professionals tend to fall into two categories: soft skills and non-technical skills, or non-core technical skills. Despite the technical prowess, many struggle in areas that are increasingly critical for modern tech environments. Right. So here, communication skills, um, being able to explain challenges, documentation, poorly written, feedback handling, struggles with giving and receiving constructive feedback, especially in a high pressure environment. And let's pull on that for a little bit. Let's pull on that for a little bit. Let's define constructive feedback. Constructive feedback and response that helps someone improve, providing specific, actionable insights. It can help someone become more effective, highlighting strengths and weaknesses. So, a lot of people, and I know someone, that only wants to highlight their strengths. But when you talk about your weakness, it's a problem. But then it's part of constructive feedback, right? Highlighting strengths and weaknesses, identifying growth opportunities, offering new perspectives, providing evidence and examples, suggesting ways to improve. Focus on improvement rather than fault finding. That's where the whole post mortem comes from in tech. Right here. Post mortem, to help you understand, like, hey, here's the actionable items that, here's what we did, here's the action items that we took, and here's what we did to prevent that from happening again. That's where that comes from. Blame is in fact, it's a guy, he blameless postmortems right here. Blameless. Next one up, collaboration and teamwork. Difficulty working with teams outside of technical disciplines such as marketing or sales due to different terminologies and priorities. Conflict resolution. Some of y'all lack reading and comprehension skills and conflict resolution skills. So you just be a ticket time bomb every time somebody talk to you. And I'm not even pointing out color here. It's across the board. It's across the board, right? Project management. Many tech professionals facing challenges in estimating timelines, prioritization, agile practices, a gap in understanding and effectively using frameworks like Scrum or Kanban to streamline workflows. Strategic thinking, big picture awareness. I always talk about this. This is one of the things I talk about all the time, big picture awareness. Don't use me to make your big picture awareness now. You need to pay me. You need to pay me for my big picture awareness. I don't do this for free. I was just talking to Kelsey yesterday about having the big picture and having the awareness. And listen, when you're talking to people, or let me say this, when people are talking to you, listen for their action verbs. When somebody say we want to use you elsewhere, the key word is what? What's the key word? I want to use you. See, if you say something, they're gonna say, "Well, I mean to collaborate." No, your first verb was the word that you meant use, right? So beware of how people talk. I told you last week to learn the language, learn the language, learn the words, learn the people, learn how they move. Learn, y'all got to learn how to study people. Do they use their right hand or their left hand? Do they always look down? Do they look off? Are their hands in their pockets? Do they rock from side to side? Do they stutter? What do they do? You need to learn them languages. You need to learn how people talk. You need to learn how they walk, and you need to do that across the board. You guys gotta get back to this. That's what a DevOps do. Mm. You guys gotta be
Or in any one of a number of equally deadly ways.
y'all gotta be learning just like that. That's my expectation. Yes. That is my expectation. Kung Fu Masters. Kung Fu Masters of Linux. That is my expectation. Big picture awareness, business acumen, limited knowledge of how technical solutions align with the business strategies. I tell you all the time, that team that you're getting brought into for that new job, how does that, what, being on that team, how does it align with the business strategies, the revenue models, the user needs? What problem are we solving and why? And how long have you been working on this problem? What are your expectation of me to help come solve this problem? After we solve this problem, then what? What's in the pipeline next? What are we doing in the future? How are we moving? What's new? What's innovative? Are we doing anything innovative? What's the company goals? What's the company bottom line? How's the company preparing the runway? And I'm gonna use this term architectural runway, but really the business runway for the next 5 years. I may only be here for two, but can I get 2 years? Am I safe? Customer centric mindset, empathy for users, difficulty in designing solutions that consider the user experience, feedback integration, overlooking the customer or the client during development cycles, always in a feedback loop. Emerging technologies, slow adoption. You scared to move off a VM and go to a container. Security awareness, a gap in understanding and implementing robust security. Cross disciplinary knowledge, lack of familiarity with adjacent technologies. Writing, writing and presenting skills, technical writing, struggles in writing clear, concise reports or tutorials, presentations, difficulty delivering engaging audience, appropriate presentations and technical work. Emotional intelligence, self-awareness, challenges in recognizing their own weakness of or areas for improvement. Empathy, lack of understanding or of team dynamics or emotional cues leading to strained workplace relationships. Why the weakness matters. In modern tech events, modern tech environments, roles and often mix a mix of deep and technical expertise and the ability to navigate business, customer, and tech interactions. I'm gonna pause there because we're gonna look at this. So there is a tech congress upskilling the government, right, with tech talent, right? Technology touches virtually all areas of life and every issue before Congress. Tech Congress gives talented technologies the opportunity to gain firsthand experience in federal policy making and shape the future of tech policy through our fellowships with the members of Congress and congressional committees. Basically, come help us learn this shit. We don't know what they're talking about. Literally. Everything that is listed here is what you would use in a position like that, especially the empathy part. How many of you lead with empathy, and how many of you expect empathy? How many of y'all lead with empathy, and how many of y'all expect empathy? I can tell you now, some of you all expect empathy, and some of you all have never ever led with empathy. I can tell you that. Let me see. I got 3 minutes. I try to blow it up, but it's not big. All right, this right here, this table FY 2025 is the estimated research and development for 2025 that they're coming out with. All right, so basically, if you add it up on this gray line right here, for the request is for 203 billion for 2025. The house is I guess the house is doing 202 uh in 2025, 202.7 billion, and the Senate is doing 200. Either way, there's 200 billion that's going out for basic research, applied research, development, and R&D facilities for research and development in defense. Um, that is $103 billion that's going out, and then for non-defense, it's 97 billion, 97.28 billion that's going out. That stems from this conversation that we had earlier last week or late last week about the funding that went out um, for each agency for research and development. I told you always be looking for the research and development so you know where people are and where they're spending money at. And let me see if that's everything. I mean, there's some other stuff, but I think we're okay. I'm okay to not talk about those things. Let me double verify. Um, let me look. Mm, mm, mm. I think I'm okay. These are just strong mentions. These are just strong mentions. This is why I call Tam's news. How Taylor Swift and Beyonce fans could fuel a fresh meme stock frenzy with music ETFs. There is also, for those that are interested, that work on in for the federal government, not as a contractor, but literally as a GS. Let me pull that up. I'm frozen. No. Okay. All right. Okay, there we go. I hate when it does this, but basically the title is about The number of TSP millionaires are soaring with the bull market in the stocks. So TSP millionaires, right? They work for the federal government. The most federal employers probably think they will be wealthier in the private sector, perhaps, but an increasing number of federal employees are now millionaires. And they're talking about through the thrift savings plan how they become millionaires. At the time, they counted 117,000. At the end of 22 there were 76. At the end of 22 there were 76,000. And said at that time the number of, and this is 2023, is 116. um the latest increase in the number of millionaires in the THP is even more impressive. It's up to 155,000 millionaires. And then they show the growth over time of people who became millionaires. So from 2023 to 2024, it's impressive. We about got 40,000 more millionaires there. And I've talked about how to become a W 2 millionaire. A lot of people like, Tamika, no one wants to wait. We can go do our own YouTube and be be these millionaires, and you can. I'm not saying you can't. I'm just saying the likelihood is not as strong. A lot of people like to downplay the efforts of saving and investing. But to each his own. It is what it is. And then I'll leave off on this note. I want to talk about her before, but you guys can go look her up. Oh, come on. Do do do. Let me log in. Let that log in. So go look her up. She is a CEO of an American-made electronics manufacturer. And she's preparing for tariffs, but her name is Carla Trotman. She's the president and the CEO of Electrosoft, a U.S. specialty electronics manufacturer in Pennsylvania. So go check her out. Electrosoft. I don't know if they're publicly traded or not, but here is the company. It's been around for 30 years. Here are some of their jobs that they have in manufacturing. Let's see, they got dental, healthcare, 401k, employer match, profit sharing bonuses, on site training, and certification. And you'll learn these skills: PCB assembly and experience, um, a ability to read and build to print. That is a thing, ability to read. All right. I'm at the 205 mark. We did it, Joe. We did it. We did it for the 2 hours. I went through all the stuff I searched and just try to give you an overview of like what it could be like. Don't be mad at somebody going to a tech conference and trying to find their husband or their wife. It's okay. People been doing it for years. We just new to it. We just not figuring out. We're just now trying to figure out like, oh, maybe we should date people who have some things in common with us. Maybe that should be a thing. Maybe you should go to a bookstore signing and date someone who's into books. That's a thing. You can do that, right? There is a Barnes and Noble. There's literally a Barnes and Noble's meetup. I don't know if y'all know that. I used to be a part of one, uh, and they actually meet up and have a discussion about books. It's like a book club, but they pick and choose various locations. Let me show you to meet up. Um, it's one they again. It's like meeting up like with story time, but they pick a book and they go meet up at the locations to talk about the book, or they're invite the author out, or something of that nature, or they'll have whatever. It's kind of like book club, but in some cases each one is different. Some have Zoom calls, some have they have a point that they get to where they talk about the book, and then somebody else talks about a different portion of the book or what have you. So again, people meet up. That's is my point. So you got to pick a struggle. Either you want to date someone who has some likeness in terms of skill sets and understand that tech element of your life, or you don't have that. Depends on you how important that is to you. For me, it's important. I don't want to have to explain binary to somebody. So that's important to me. I used to say this is way before dating apps took off, or they will require your phone number. I mean your email address for the phone. I used to be like, he got to have a phone. He got to have a email address. That's the starting basic. Some men just didn't have email addresses. And let me ask this before we get out of here. I'm looking at transition to tech and was introduced to your channel by via Simone Bees. This live has been eye opening. I look forward to future streams. Thank you. You are welcome. Transitioning to tech, that means a lot of things. I hope I kind of open your eyes to possibilities. I hope you open your mind to possibilities on what you could do and share that with others. And as well as always remember, keep moving forward. Get your money up front. Don't let nobody tell you to get your money on the back end. Um, there's no such thing as not practicing. Practice every single day. Learn every day, and do your best to teach someone else that's willing to learn. Those that are not willing to learn, you leave them where they're at. That's what I said. Sometimes you got to leave the person that want to make cookies making cookies. That's their goal. That's what they like. That's what they want to do. So you leave them at making cookies. You just got to figure out how you're gonna monetize it. All right, y'all be safe and happy holidays.